talk to me about how agonizingly close that last one was.
Yeah, so the last one would have been a PR by a little bit less than an inch, but still a PR. So yeah, it was really close. I thought for one moment it was gonna stay up, and then I saw it down. But it means like it's getting there. So I think like next meet I can get it. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you've been at 4:35, obviously. Another clearance at 4:30. How happy has that consistency made you this year?
Yeah, I'm really happy because last year I struggled a little bit with consistency. Maybe sometimes it was like 4 meters, so 13 feet, and sometimes I was jumping 14. So I'm like, okay, this year the consistency is better. It's always around 39 to 14 feet. So I'm just happy, and I hope to PR soon.
Absolutely. How special is it that now 3 years in a row, Emily, Micaiah, you. I mean, it'd be one thing if one school had one girl come and win 2-3 times, but to have 3 different women, I mean, obviously it speaks to the strength of the program. We're not even talking about Chris.
Yes.
So, I mean, but how special is that all 3 of you have been able to celebrate here?
Yeah, it's really special, especially because this is like a huge meet, and I think I'm just happy because of my coach, because I think he's really proud of what we're doing every year, and obviously we jump high because of him. So thank you, Derek.
Absolutely. Did you feel like you learned? I mean, obviously, it goes without saying you're a much better vaulter this year than you were last year. But in terms of the conditions, I mean, obviously, if you've never been here before, it's tough to adjust. How much more comfortable did you feel coming back this year versus last year? Because it certainly looked like it.
Yeah, for sure I was more comfortable, probably because the last few meets I've been more consistent. So, but the wind was also better. Last year was a little bit crosswind, and this year I think it was like pretty good tailwind. So the runway was great, and yeah, stadium, the atmosphere, it's really great. Yeah.
And refresh my memory. Last year you guys were going west to east.
Yeah, we were like on the T, on that side.
Right.
Yes.
So did you? I mean, obviously that's where Chris and and all the rest of the elite vaulters will vault. I mean, did it feel better? Was it a difference?
Yes, it felt way better. Yes, but I think also because this year it's just going better, I guess, personally. So yeah.
Awesome.
Why have you been so consistent this year?
I think so. My freshman year, I transferred to South Dakota after my freshman year. So I think Derek the first year was just like trying to know my jump. So this year just like more like consistency, and I got used to his training. So I think I'm just pulling all the things together now.
Helen, I think you were 3rd at Drake last year. Is that right?
Yep.
So did you have confidence coming in today? Did you have a chance at getting 1st this season? I mean, was that kind of an expectation for you to get 1st this year?
Yes, I think so, because I've been consistent, like I said before. I was always jumping 39 or 14. I jumped at Texas Relays 14.3. So obviously my teammates over there are doing great too, so it's always like a battle, sometimes I get to win and sometimes they get to win, so you kind of never know, but I put it together today. So,
does your family back in Italy today have any idea how big of a deal it is to win the Drake Relays title?
I don't think so, but I'm gonna call them now and tell them.
Sounds good.
What was going through your mind as you were taking your victory lap?
What? I didn't take my victory lap.
You haven't?
No,
Okay.
because the 100 meters was going on, so I didn't really want to get through in the middle of the thing. So yeah.
Well, go do it. Now's your time.
I'm waiting for Zach to do it. My teammate, the high jumper. Yeah. So you can interview him, and then we do it.
Helen, congratulations.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.
Take us through the challenges just to be able to get to 220 with with what you were dealing with down below, and just I mean, obviously I know the competitor and you wanted to keep going, but just knowing that there's bigger goals and bigger bars and bigger obstacles down the line, like I mean, was it hard for you to have to say stop?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, there was probably like 3 or 4 jumps in there where I knew I needed to shut it down, but actually I remember my freshman year I ended up getting 3rd, and then last year I came up just short with 2nd. So this was a meet I've been waiting for all outdoor season. Count down the seconds, and we jumped 2 times last weekend, and that definitely played its toll. And today I was warming up and my knee wasn't feeling good, so ended up having to skip a few bars just to give it more time to rest. But yeah, that competitiveness is probably the reason I got over 220 again. So
What is the issue overall with your knee? Is it just not feeling great? Or
yeah,
anything?
it's like patellar tendonitis, so it just is always going to hurt, and you can't really fix it. You just have to deal with it, and I do strengthening drills for it, but if I overuse it, it's hurt for the next week or so.
Which knee is it?
Right knee, luckily, so. depended a lot on that jump leg today.
The fact that it's the exact same place, it's the exact same guy in Rockmon, although he's wearing a different kit this time around, and the fact that you were able to push through, not only physically but mentally and emotionally, to get over the top. I mean, how sweet is that? How significant is that you were able to reverse that after last year?
Yeah, it's awesome, and like that's what every track kid dreams about, is showing up at the right time. And you got the best of me last year, and I'm glad I can make myself push myself throughout the last year to be able to jump a bar. I think I went out at 212 last year, so it was nice to get a 220 and the win. And no, but definitely, it's like playing a team that has beat you. You just want to beat them bad.
Yeah.
Does that make today more sweeter?
Yeah, I'd say it's always like that. I mean, especially when conference comes around, and I just remember he's one of my best friends now because he graduated, but we competed head to head growing up in high school, and then he ended up going to South Dakota State, and I went to South Dakota, and he got the best of me indoor my freshman year. It just makes it more fun to know that you need to show up at the big times.
How much does this mean to you to be able to add this to your resume, Drake Relays champion now?
Huge. I mean, I grew up in Parker, South Dakota, went to school 40 minutes away, so to think I can hop on a bus and go 3 hours to one of the greatest track meets in the nation, opposed to hopping on a plane and having to stay overnight somewhere and this and that, it's awesome. And I love home crowds, I love the Midwest, so Drake Relays, I'll keep coming back till I can't jump anymore, which hopefully isn't too soon.
Yeah. What's that moment like, just for the program, and for the coaches? I mean, obviously with you and Helen, we're putting on a show out there.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously just not only to represent the Yotes, but the Summit League. And I mean, obviously, I think a lot of times, people just say, it's Chris, and that's about it. But obviously, there's a lot of great stuff going on in your program. So how special is it to be able to have both of you showcasing that at the same time?
Oh yeah, it's huge. And if you guys saw Megan Billington last night, she got her win. So that kind of started it. That made it real. Drake champions are about to happen, and then Helen's going, I'm going, and we'll have throwers going up there and doing the same thing, and then Chris will show up tomorrow, and it just is one thing that's going to keep hopping to the next, so I'm glad I could contribute my part and represent South Dakota well here.
What's the team camaraderie like? I mean, in between your jumps, you were running over to support the vaulters. I mean, like, what's it like with all of you guys?
No, I mean, it's a brotherhood, really. Like, the four of us, we've grown together, and Blake actually is from Iowa, jumped here in high school, 6'9" high jumper, but he's struggled lately. But I hope he's back next year, and you'll see all five of us having fun there. It's not so much just a teammate thing, and honestly, I don't care who walks away with it as long as it's South Dakota, because all five of those guys deserve it. So